You think after 60 or 70 years on this earth, meeting new neighbors would be a breeze, just a smile, a wave, maybe a pie if you're feeling extra friendly. But I've learned the hard way that there are a few things we seniors should never do in those first encounters. See, there's a delicate dance to starting fresh. One wrong move, one offhand comment, and you've set a tone that's hard to change. And at our age, we don't have time for years of awkwardness. So, let me walk you through 5 big mistakes I wish I had known and avoided when meeting new neighbors. I get it. We've lived long lives, we've seen things, lost things, loved, failed, risen again. And when you meet someone new, it's tempting to dive into your story, to prove you're interesting, to connect. But oversharing? Oh, it can backfire. I once met a new neighbor the same day I moved in. Lovely lady, maybe in her 40s. She brought over muffins. I invited her in. And before I knew it, I was talking about my late husband, my daughter, who won't speak to me, and my hip surgery. She nodded politely, but her eyes kept darting toward the door. By the time she left, I realized I'd shared too much, too fast. I hadn't asked a single thing about her. I'd turned what should have been a light introduction into a therapy session. Now, when I meet new people, I keep it light. Ask about them. Find shared ground. Weather, gardens, pets. Let trust build slowly. You wouldn't pour an entire pot of coffee on someone's lap to offer them a sip, right? Same goes with your life story. Let it unfold in chapters, not one overwhelming monologue. I used to think that every new neighbor was a potential best friend. I mean, we live right next to each other. Why not bond? So when a new couple moved in next door, I was ready. I made cookies, left little notes, invited them over for tea, stood by the mailbox coincidentally when I knew they'd be out walking. They were kind, polite, but distant. And eventually I got the hint. Not everyone moves into a neighborhood looking for new connections. Some people are busy, some are private, some are just not in the mood. And that's okay. At our age, we should know that friendship, real friendship, can't be forced. It has to be mutual, natural, earned. Now, when I meet a new neighbor, I offer warmth without pressure. I smile, say hello, maybe offer help if they seem open. But I don't expect anything. Because sometimes peace is a quiet wave across the fence, not coffee every morning. And honestly, that's enough. Whew, this one. I remember meeting one neighbor, nice fella. And within 5 minutes of talking to him, I launched into a rant about the garbage pickup schedule. Then the barking dog 3 houses down, then the noisy teenagers. I didn't mean to sound bitter. I just wanted to share what it's really like around here. But that man never said more than hello to me again after that. Why? Because negativity repels, especially early on. No one wants to feel like they've moved next to a grump. Even if your complaints are valid, they don't belong in your first conversation. New neighbors are still forming their impression, not just of the neighborhood, but of you. Now, when I meet someone new, I keep my mouth zipped about the flaws. Let them form their own opinions. And you know what? Some of those things I used to grumble about don't even bother me anymore. Funny how that works. Back when I was younger, neighbors used to just walk into each other's homes. No knocking, no warning. That's not how it works anymore. I once knocked on a new neighbor's door just to say hello. She opened it halfway, looked startled, and said, "Could you text next time?" Text? To say hello? But I respected it. Times have changed. Privacy is valued differently now. And for us seniors, it's easy to misstep, not out of rudeness, but habit. We're from a time when neighborly meant close. Now it means respectful. I always wait for an invitation. I don't linger on porches. I don't comment on who's coming or going. One neighbor even thanked me for not being too nosy. It's a compliment I now treasure. We can still be warm, kind, even helpful, without being overbearing. And in today's world, that balance is everything. So if you're walking across the lawn to meet that new neighbor, pause, take a breath. Remember, this isn't about making a grand impression. It's about laying a small, steady foundation. Don't overshare, don't push too hard, don't assume everyone wants your life story. Just be present, be kind, be aware. Because in the end, the strongest relationships, even with neighbors, are built slowly with trust, patience, and a whole lot of respect. If this helped you or reminded you of something you wish you'd known earlier, please stick around. Subscribe to Elder Words, where we don't just age, we grow wiser together.